use the J quote that he told everyone release music because 50 Cent is coming. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
at least Jay, honors him, respects
Acknowledge.
him in that.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think it's
Oh,
the way that,
he knew he had a heater. He knew
yeah,
he had a heater coming.
In the
yeah,
club. Yeah,
especially
he
for the
had.
people who knew. And that's what the only thing I hate that, like, it's like we weren't outside, and then too, the internet isn't as prevalent and as efficient as it is now.
Right.
So we don't know what everyone in the buzz he was getting in the streets. You get what I'm saying? Like the closest thing I can think of is Drake's run, because you just saw Drake have a mixtape in February, and then by damn near the summer, Best I Ever Had dropped. He's the biggest, like one of the biggest stars in the world. We at least saw that bubbling. We was hearing his music. We was hearing some of the things that he already had. 50 just came out of nowhere. I'm just saying, you get what I'm saying? We didn't get to see the build up of
Yeah.
what they was anticipating.
Well, 50. Well, for us, we heard of 50 before that because How to Rob came out.
Huh?
And then we had snippets of Power of the Dollar from the Bootleg Man at the barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew who he was, and then I remember he had an article in the Source before, or Double XL, one of them joints. So we was like, yo, but we didn't get to hear no leaked music like Jay and Irving Lorenzo did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we kind of knew about it, but we didn't know. But when it came, so I heard Wankster before I heard In the Club.
Oh. To me, Wankster
Was the
Wankster
first
better.
one I heard off that joint.
Dang.
And I was like, okay, all right. And then In the Club came out, and it was what it was. And then when I got the album, the intro came on. What up?
Yeah.
What up? Cut?
That's
I
I was
that's
out.
debatable.
just remember Wankster because I think that was my 8th grade year. That was like the fall first semester of my 8th grade year.
Dang, I was about to go to Iraq.
Yeah. I remember Wankster. I remember In the Club. I remember that dropping. And then I just remember getting that album. And that album, like, this is when I'm like first really getting into rap. And I'm like, it sound different, man, because like it had the like run and it hit hard and was gritty like how DMX run was. But the music was so popping big, like how Jay was. So it's like you got the streets and the mainstream messing with you
You're right.
at a high level. And it seemed like everything he did was hidden. Even PIMP was a big song. Like, dude, I troll him. I kind of sell him short when I say he aged like milk. Like, but I'm just saying, like, in all respects, like, give him that a time it was, the era it was, and the moment it was. You have to really give him his respect for the grasp he had on music for that run.
The thing about it though is he could have dropped Massacre like that same year at the end of the year, but he decided to do Beg for Mercy and put Banks in them on. He could have easily just been like, all right,
That was
I'm just
dope
gonna
too.
do me.
Like, you got to think everything was hidden, and that's why I'm like,
Yeah, his run
of
was
course,
good.
I'm a Drake fan and a Wayne fan, so I'm gonna say their run was better. One, I'm at a point in my life where I experienced, and my point of view, the perspective I have when the music is different. But if you really just look at it pre-internet, like TV is major. He's in video games. He's in movies, man. Like
They
he
made
was even in.
bread.
It was even close to like what Tupac's stardom was,
Yeah.
because like he
Yeah.
started acting like we only saw Tupac really acting at first, and then of course other actors got was famous with Queen Latifah, but I'm saying where you have people doing it at a high level, that's acting like, man,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Fifth carved himself out a spot in history.
Yeah, he did. It's even bigger than like because people talk about No Limits run, and that hit the streets different. Even Cash Money, but like I just remember 50s like standing out, man. It was like it's hard to even find like an
That
NBA
nigga came
comp.
out with Hate It or Love It and all that too with the game too in '05. I'm like,
All
man,
It
bro.
man, they
was,
had the glow from like '03 to '05. Like, listen,
yeah. Well,
all
the
of their first
package,
albums were fire, bro. All of them
yeah.
had
Yeah,
great
bunch of
first albums.
people troll you.
The,
Thoughts of a Predicate Feeling was borderline
the
as cold. Bro.
backstory contributed to the intrigue as well.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So all of that played a role in it because his story was, it was what it was. And then you added Dre and M and all that to it, and
and
the music was what it was.
I
And
also
it just was the perfect storm.
look at it too, though, like how they all bigged up each other. Like, I remember this is when I'm first getting into music. So,
Mm-hmm.
because at this point, all I know is the like R&B I listened to with my pops,
Uh-huh.
and like Tupac. My pops was a Tupac fan, and then
Mm-hmm.
it was gospel. So I'm not really consuming the radio like that because I wasn't allowed to listen to it.
Right.
My Bob, we had Comcast. My mom had BET and MTV blocked.
Yeah.
So when I'm listening to the stories, and I just remember how G Unit, everyone was bigging each other up. People are like, "Hey man, Banks cold. He gonna be the best."
Yeah.
Everybody Banks is talking about Tony Yayo is better than him, and Tony Yayo wasn't better than him, but all of them lived up to the hype of
Facts.
what all they were saying about each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like Banks' album, man, was fire. That's
Yeah,
the
Hunger for
first
More.
album.
Yeah.
I didn't think I bought it, but my boy bought it, and we was on a church trip, and we was in LA, and we was listening to Hunger for More, and that
Um,
and
Warrior.
album,
Warrior was
yeah,
crazy.
Warrior, what was it, Karma? I remember that being when
What's
I
the
went
song
on
where he was
mine.
talking about? Shot like a 12K shot. I think it was Southside Story or something.
Yeah, man,
Crazy, bro.
fire album, man. Like, and he on fire, man. That
And
being
this junk. And this
Thursday.
junk. He
Yeah.
was snapping, bro.
And then, like I said, hey, man, Buck's album is fire, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, his Buck album. I was about to say his Buck album, the second best album or third
And then,
I
that came
know.
out because
like,
we had documentary too.
Whatever it
like I
is,
said,
he don't own it no more.
no.
Man,
Yeah,
I
then,
just want to leave him alone, man. Why
yeah,
he gotta?
because Game album come out before? Yeah, Game album came out before,
Yeah,
Bucks. I mean, before Yayo's,
I would
right?
say Get Rich than documentary. I think Cheddar Cashville third, bro. Honestly.
No, Game is a documentary is second. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would definitely say Get Rich or Die Trying than documentary. I
and
may
then
put
Buck. The
Banks.
Buck album better than Massacre though. Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Massacre is kind of high, but like I say, all of them did great on their first album. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they didn't really they didn't cheat the game. And I remember because like you got to think this is a time that television matters. Making 106 in Park mattered. You get what I'm saying? Having
Yeah.
your video in rotation matters. That's why those budgets were so insane that
Yeah.
they were spending a
yeah. They're
lot
like,
on
shoot,
these.
50 gonna get us our money back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Like
Hype Williams, and F. Gary Gray was getting paid, boy. And,
yeah, them guys not really even needed now, bro.
yeah.
Cause
Yeah,
them directors
dog, you
like
literally could drop an album with no label. Like you can just put it on Apple,
bro.
right? I think you can't just put it on there,
Them
dog.
directors done, bro. Those guys had Benny Boom,
Yeah, they
Brian
better.
Barber,
Yeah,
like
that's why some of them doing shorts and movies and
yeah,
stuff now. That's why they
Lil
moving on.
X,
Yeah,
Lil X, like who else? David something, man. Like David Myers, like
they had a
all of
bunch
these
of
guys, like
them.
it mattered when your movie was when your video was directed by them. Like
Yeah,
Big Pimpin' was man, that was iconic.
Mm-hmm.
That's an
yeah,
iconic video. They looking bossy in there.
yeah.
Victory. That's a crazy video, man. Like
Whoa.
your videos matter.
I didn't mean to do that. Okay.
You get what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like if
Remember
He still got
Black
Star
Rock? Whoa.
101 and Bed for Mercy and all that came out too. That album. I wanna get the love. I
yeah,
wanna get to know you. That one.
I forgot about Beg for Mercy. Yeah, like
Yeah. That's
They
probably
did
number.
great,
That's probably
man.
top 5 too. That's probably like right after Hunger for More, probably.
Yeah, they didn't. They just had a point in time when none of those guys were missing, and it was dope for music. And like, it's crazy though, because it's like as good as they was that when they hit, it's just that when they faded because music changed. You got to think in '05, really just '03 to '05. This is in the midst of Black Album. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is in the midst of Kanye. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, you know, Carter came out with an '04, and then
Yep.
Carter
Carter
04.
2
2
came
on
out
5.
late '05.
Yep.
December 05. Yep.
Yeah,
Or
And then
November.
and then T.I. came out of nowhere.
yeah, I was just about to
Yeah.
say that.
Trap Music
T.I.,
03. Urban Legend
Luda,
04.
we talked about it
Yeah.
before. Luda is here. And
Yeah.
then Jeezy comes summer of '05. But
Mm-hmm.
Jeezy is hitting too
The
with
South.
Boys in the Hood.
South
So
took
it's
the South
like
was going crazy though.
music just has so much crazy artists and music out at a high level that they came out, and when they came with it just did not hit like what was out. Like the Massacre wasn't a bad album.
No.
It's just that shit, look at how much stuff was out in '05.
Yeah.
I
Like you
was
had your moment, but you got
1.4 million in
T.I.,
he sold 1.4 million in like 4 days.
you got
Man.
Jeezy, T.I., all them out in there, man.
yeah.
And then
And you
even
got to
Joe,
think about how new these guys sound compared to a guy that's been out for 4 years. Like, okay, it's a
and
new.
then Fat Joe, he even had his moment. Like
He
Terror
did.
Squad, Lean Back was a moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fat
That's
Joe.
'04. I think '04, man. Like I remember that Remy Ma verse, like it was a moment.
What year
Yeah.
did Black on Both Sides come out with Most Def? I think that was
Shoot, that's
2000.
before that.
Shoot,
Oh, that's
I think.
before. Okay.
Talib had a song, man. Like it was just so much music that was hitting, man. And like these guys are like putting out
Oh,
great bodies
B
of
B
work.
came out in '05 too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
B
All
and
that
B
Dang.
coming.
that's all
B and B
that
coming.
stuff came out while I was in Iraq. I was in
Yeah,
Iraq when that came out.
Yeah, that's some tough competition, man.
yeah. B and B coming came out '05.
Yep.
Late registration.
And
That's what I'm saying about.
Another thing changed. We started getting iPods and Zooms.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And what was it? MP3 players.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
can
All that.
start listening now. Now it's like music is changing too, because like back then we was forced to listen to the whole albums. We was listening to all the, a whole bunch of albums. Now I remember having MP3 players. I may just be picking now just my favorite songs from the albums, and I'm making
Yeah.
my playlist.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they
it's
say
like,
the average fan will give you 8 seconds,
yeah,
and if you don't like they don't like it in that 8 seconds, they skip it.
no, yeah, I'm like that. Like that's why, like I know you don't listen, but it took me like for a lot of Drake albums, I had to listen to it the second, third time to like really catch the vibe or catch the groove, or try to be like, I see where you going. Like the first time I heard honestly never mind, I'm like, oh, this shit is terrible. But then I'm like, all right, there was some songs that I can vibe to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sticky's not terrible. So I'm saying like
Yeah.
it's a lot of gems I was missing out on. Like I really tried to like To Pimp a Butterfly. I didn't like it like how everyone else did, but I appreciate songs like These Walls, All Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are like my favorite songs from the album. And now music, with us putting it on our iPods, creating playlists, now only certain songs are breaking through.
Yeah.
And two, y'all know you might not have YouTube as an app, but YouTube Music can even break it down to like majority of the songs that you sonically listen to more. And
Yeah.
it broke it down to me that I mostly like songs with like a mellow vibe or a low to mid RPM, BPM, beats per minute. You get what I'm saying? So it's like we're also crafting what we like sonically now.
Yep.
That's why I try to live with a project. So I don't look all this whole make 100. I'm not gonna do it because if I'm still listening to Tank and Nas album. I don't care that you just put your album out. I was gonna have to wait because I'm gonna live with these albums until I'm finished. Because like,
See,
how
I
That's the
hate
thing
I'm gonna know if
too.
I
I'm still in the '90s right now.
I'm trying my best, and I
I
don't
did.
know if it's